Well, hold on. That AI band that got 50 million views. I mean, at the end of the day, is this like the age-old thing of artist versus commercialism? At the end of the day, you want something that the crowd, can connect and wants to get into. Maybe that's the key word, connect, because I don't know. How do you connect to a EDM concert and a laptop? I'm trying to figure out what the difference is.
Depends on how much Molly you're on.
Well, again,
yes,
different than us going to see Journey, right? You go with the intention of that's the vibe that you're going to receive when you go to an EDM concert. Like, I didn't get it either. I was like, it's a guy just, it's one dude. I don't understand, but it's the crowd energy. And then we were before the show, we were talking about concerts in Europe and how the energy is different. But if you're vibing in that same energy, it's another, extension of what I was talking about before. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I was thinking that it's kind of the opposite. The younger generations are so much different than we are. And they just want to go somewhere and plug in and hang out with friends. I don't think they necessarily care about the concerts anymore. I mean, you think about it, there's 10, maybe 12 different songs that have been in the top 100 for AI artists. That's somebody that's sitting there typing on their keyboard, I don't know. Maybe that's the difference between us and them is we wanted to go to concerts. These guys, maybe the younger generation, they're like, we don't want to go.
And I think I could comment on that a little bit because I've been to these music festivals that have a mix of bands and EDM. And, a lot of times when I've gone to these things, the EDM stuff, I get bored after like a half hour. Yeah, I'm the old guy in the back, like shaking my head, like, what am I watching here? But it is a vibe, and it's to Mark's point. There's a kid. He's up on stage. He's got a laptop. Everything's pumped through. It all sounds perfect. There's some visuals going on behind him, and the kids. I don't know how much they're really watching what he's doing as much as they're just dancing and grooving and getting into it. And again, half hour, 40 minutes, and then I'm looking at my watch going, okay, let's go back to the car and tailgate, because I'd rather go and sit and drink beer, hang out and talk, because I'd be doing that anyway at the damn EDM thing. Now, there is a place for it, and I think there is definitely, there's these EDM shows that they're doing, and these EDM festivals are heavily attended. I'm not talking about Burning Man and all that. I'm talking local things, like whether it's, they have them down in South Florida. That's where I saw the last time I saw some EDM down there. And it's interesting stuff. I think it does tend to be toward a younger generation. And I think to Rhodesy's point is I don't think they really care. They're not watching. We went to concerts back in the 70s and 80s, and we wanted to watch the guitar player play the solo. We wanted to watch a drummer do a solo, maybe not. We were focused in on what the musicians were doing. And I think today, with you're talking EDM, I think they're just there for the vibe and the party, and I'm not saying you have to do club drugs to enjoy it, but I'm sure that helps. But that's how I saw it. Again, I was just at one, not this year, but last year I was down in Halloween, which has a mix of funk bands and jam bands, and I saw Black Pumas was at that concert. Well, Black Pumas was great. The same people that were at the Black Pumas show, we're seeing Grizz and Rez and all these other guys that, you guys probably don't even know them. And I didn't know them. All I remember was there was a lot of pounding. Poof, 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 poof. Kids were bopping for an hour and 10 minutes, Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll be happy to know that I did raise 3 kids that are all concert goers. they prefer live music. All three of my kids, man. And I don't know, I raised them that way too.
What
But
are
they
they
done
want to
well.
feel they want to feel that energy. They
Done
do.
well,
It's
Mark.
different.
what do their friends want to do? I'm kind of curious what the future is. I mean, we're talking about Chicago music scene. Hey, Duran Duran, cool. Uh, I'll go, but I'm talking like in 10, 15 years, what are these kids even going to be going out? Because I do think, and I'll bring it back to Reggie's. I think when you play at Reggie's, they have a really nice video system there. When you go there and you play, you can go on Twitch and you can say, hey, what's going on at the Vixen, what's going on at Broken Oar. So instead of going out, you sort of get like this local MTV, JBT, whatever you want to call it, that, hey, what's going on. I think there's a market for that. I think that might be the future. What do you guys think? I know we want people to come out to the show, but look in the crowd. Ain't none of us getting any younger there. And these kids, there's, they like the soft stuff now, or they like this laptop music.
Yeah,
And
at our age, I don't think any of us really have to be concerned with that, because I don't think I'll be doing this 12 years or 15 years from now. So that's somebody else's problem down the road. For now, we're going to rock and do what we do, I guess.
Danny,
Well, somebody look in their broken crystal ball. I'm just wondering, because I'll be podcasting in 10, 15
I agree.
years.
I have this conversation. When I quit touring, I got into artist management and booking bands and worked closely with the folks at Summerfest, for example, largest festival in the world. And I think they're going to have a trouble trying to figure out, are they going to slowly shrink just because, the bands that they've been hiring over the last 5 years, these folks are dying. They're not touring. I wonder how they have these bands like, Foreigner, for example. There's no original members left.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, Danny, because I go to Summerfest every year, and I was really struggling to find a day to go this past summer. And I did find a day. I ended up going the day of the Allman Betts band was playing on the U line or something.
Yeah.
But as I was looking at the schedule, I'm like, how the fuck don't I know half of these bands? I mean, and then I go look it up and I'm like, this is a guy with a laptop. And I go down and I'm trying to find like the Foreigners or the Styx or, those guys play every year. But I mean, trying to find the bands was not easy. And it was a real mix this year, I think, of DJs and EDM and I just didn't see. I mean, I'm talking for the headliners. I'm not necessarily talking the bands, leading up to those, because there's bands from 12 o'clock, till 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock. So, but very interesting.
Yeah, look at the music stores, for example. When back in the 80s, when we were going, you'd walk in, you'd see walls of Marshalls and, high-end mixing consoles. And, in musicians, we all toured nationally full time. And that's gone. Those music stores now don't exist. And the ones
It's all online.
stay alive.
Sweetwater.
Sweetwater.
Wait, hold
Cha-ching.
on. Then why, then why are these kids pining over vinyl?
That's very interesting. My oldest son also, like Mark, travels to Spain to go hear The Weeknd, or went to Paris to go see The Weeknd. He's got a pretty high-end vinyl system, and he is now going back and rediscovering how really good. He's like, we borrow each other albums back and forth. Hey, give this one a listen. He gets me records for my birthday, and he got me Duran Duran Big Thing for my last birthday, and it was opened. And he goes, I had to listen to it. I said, and what did you think? He goes, I loved it. It was great. I mean, that was like a different sound for Duran Duran, but he was just so tempted to hear, what does my dad like so much about this, that he's out doing this, playing shows and listened to this music for 35, 40 years of his life. And before he gave it to me, he opened up and he listened to it. So I think that's cool. I really respect that and dig that. I wish more kids were like that, but yeah, he's got quite the little vinyl. He bought the same speakers his dad has and the same turntables.
Wait, you're telling me your kid listened to a song you wanted to hear for more than 30 seconds and didn't skip it?
He listens to entire sides of albums.
Wow.
I do the very same thing myself. I just sat down with a glass of wine on whatever Friday and listened to Howard Jones Cross That Line, side A, side B, all the way through. Lights were off, just sitting back with my wine, digging it, and it brings back the memories. That's just such well-written, well-recorded, well-produced stuff.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that electronic music, I think some of this today is missing. Music is storytelling. It's the soundtrack to your life. That's why nostalgia is such a big thing with what we're doing.
Yep.
And I think a lot of kids who are into electronic music, they kind of follow the ones that do go back and listen to, say, the Howard Jones, all the electronic bands of the 80s. It's kind of going back to their parents. A lot of the stuff, they say, okay, this is what I'm listening to. Where did it come from? Kind of go back to the creator, and they're rediscovering or discovering for themselves for the first time, bands from the 80s that are popular. And I wish more people were doing it.
I think that's that's the neat thing about vinyl, is that you can go back, put an album on, like Brian was saying, and listen to the whole album. There was a period there where it was like everyone would just go into iTunes and buying the one song that they liked off the album, and not really digging deep into the other, 9 or 10 tracks, whatever it was on that album. It's just like, oh yeah, we love that song, so we're gonna buy that for $1.99, download it into our playlist, and that's all they really know from them.
I was so crazy in high school. I would go to, I don't know if you guys remember the mainstream mega store. Danny and Mark, you probably remember that. I liked a song or an album, and I'd go buy like all the remix singles, because I would listen to the Friday night remix on, I think it was on QFM or B97 or one of those. And it was like the guys would do all this crazy stuff with these songs. They'd remix them. They'd make the drums even bigger. There'd be a lot of sampling, and that just intrigued me. So I went out and I had a massive collection of all the remix singles. Sometimes you'd get the imports. Remember those? Like, it would have a different B-side on the record, sometimes a single. Yep. This is what they released. Or you find the old original Duran Duran, and Hungry Like the Wolf wasn't on it, the original first album, but it was when it came to America. So just having a knowledge of those things. And back then we had to read them in magazines because there was no internet. We had to follow the trades, in the rags and everything. And it was a way to really immerse yourself in the entire experience. You'd go to a concert. I remember too, like, what song are they going to open with? Then they're going to play this and try to figure out the set list and watch what they're doing with lighting. And then there'd be, if you saw Peter Gabriel or Genesis, that big subwoofer moment that would rattle your chest, just the excitement of that. And I guess what I always try and do, we control a lot of our own production. I'm always trying to bring that to the stage when we come out. The anticipation, the lights are dark, they come on. We start our show with an intro that's video and big sound, and everything really gets the crowd going. And then there's a countdown, so they all count down with us. And I just like making that experience for people. You're here live, you're mine for the next 2 hours. I'm going to grab your attention. I'm going to make sure you listen to everything we have to say. And then we love, after the shows, to go out in the lobby and, like, you saw us do, go talk to the people, shake their hand, find out what did you like. And we get messages on Facebook. People engage. I mean, that's why I do this. That's for me. It's engagement. I want to tell people something. I got something to say, and we want to impress, and we want to make people tell their friends about it, want to come back and see it again.
Do you, Brian, when you guys are doing those shows now, you're playing some theater shows, correct? So that's where you have like their AV, or their, they have screens or whatnot. But if you're playing a bar, how does that translate? I mean, are there times when you play a place and they don't have a video screen or something to put it on?
We're going into a venue in April in Oconomowoc here in Wisconsin called Rally Point. They don't have a video wall, so we have, our production guy has one. So we're bringing a real high end, 15 by 9 foot video wall with us.
Wow.
So we're taking that technology, and this place has probably one of the best PA systems I've ever heard in a building. It really is amazing. So
awesome.
I don't think you're going to see us, because there are 7 of us in the band playing the small bars. Rally Point's probably about as small as we get, but we're just going to kind of experiment and see. We liked Vixen a lot. It wasn't a seated venue. It was they had it set up as a standing, where when you saw us with Supertramp, that was all seated. The crowd's 10 years older, so they got to sit down. I get it. So just trying to figure out where is our fit as a tribute band. Do we have the niche? Where do we go? And Danny's doing most of that work for us, the marketing and the booking, and we're just trying to get the word out.
So when you're booking that stuff, are you guys now, I know you're a Wisconsin-based band primarily. I mean, one member that may not, be there. It might be upper,
Yeah.
Northern Illinois. Are you only doing stuff right now in Wisconsin, or are you starting to migrate into, the northern suburbs and even deeper, thinking ahead a little bit, like, the Displains Theater, for instance,
Yep.
or, the Arcada, have you guys been looking at places like that?
Yeah, we played Vixen in October. So we
Oh,
were
okay,
down
I
in, we were
gotcha.
down in Vixen in October.
Okay, great. Cool.
We're booked
we're
in
looking
Indiana.
all around.
Danny's. Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
I was going to say, yeah, all the states around Wisconsin. Again, our history as musicians, we've all toured nationally, and I think we'd all enjoy being able to get back out and to do some of that on a limited basis. But with careers and jobs, and trying to figure
Families.
out how to manage all of that, it looks like we'll be sticking to Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, primarily.
Yeah. And how many shows are you guys booking per year?
We're just looking at a couple of nights a month. So
Okay.
I would say it's probably going to average in the first year, maybe 1 to 3. And one thing I've learned, it's not just with what we're bringing, but when you look at calendars of other A-list tribute bands that are kind of playing regionally in the United States, they're averaging mostly 1 to 2 nights a month.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be about right, though. I mean, because again, you can't just you're not in a tour van touring around the Midwest,
Right.
So you're just kind of picking and choosing, and then going to those venues, specific shows.
Yeah, and the theaters, they don't want to burn out their audience. They're trying to find the right mix of keeping their audience and bringing in new people at the same time, which is why the whole kind of new wave thing is attractive to some of these buyers now.
Yeah.
A lot of the theaters are looking at, they want you to come in once a year.
Yeah.
9 months, that's it.
Yeah.
And then stay away for a period of time too. Then, so we're not going to try and clog the system with shoving ourselves down everyone's throat. We're going to play once in an area, then we won't be back there for 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a show at the Bend Theater in January, and they actually said, "Well, we'll have you back a year from now."
Yeah, John's a very, very good friend of ours. So that was our first show was actually at the Bend in June of last year.
Great place to play. Love it.
Yeah. Did they give you the history of it?
No, not really. It was the one thing that was weird is we had a set at 5:30 and then another set at like 7:30. It was like
gotcha.
Miami kind of show.
That was the first building in the state of Wisconsin with air conditioning.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so there's the river out back. The river was cold. They had grates that would bring the cold in, and they had fans that would swoop it up and bring it down from above. So it was a movie theater back in the 1800s, and they were the first ones with indoor air conditioning.
No, it's a great stage though. Great sound, and you know what? The crowd was great.
Yeah.
Actually, I was really surprised that we had the turnout that we did at both times. So
Yeah, when we played there, we had some folks show up from Madison, Manitowoc, Racine.
Yeah.
And these are folks, because we all had played in other popular bands back in the 80s, were curious to see us all on the same stage. So they drove, and it was on a Wednesday night, which was really, really surprising.
Yeah, in summer.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's always difficult to get people indoors in the summer.
Yeah,
So are you guys booking the festivals too? I mean, I know Danny, you talked about Summerfest. Are you looking to try and get on one of the Summerfest stages?
I don't know. So if the right opportunity came along, one thing I've learned about, because the band I played in the 80s was very similar to Duran Duran. We were often compared to them. And what I found out back then is this kind of music doesn't translate to playing as well during the daytime.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of like an ambiance. So lights, fog. So once you come out of that, it's just not as interesting. So we're very picky about what we do, in which festivals, which events. We want to put ourselves in the best light and have the fans come out and really enjoy what we're trying to share with them.
That whole experience. That's what we're going for.
Do you guys have anything coming up at the Vixen for 2026 yet, or no?
No. What do we have? Our next show is in January on the 30th, but it's up in Oshkosh. So it's up in the North Woods there, in Wisconsin.
Hey.
Over there.
Yeah, we're going even further up north in Wisconsin in, I believe that's March.
Yeah. Hey, I go to Winneconne a couple times a year.
There you go.
So.
Oshkosh is right there. So we're playing at the Grand Theater in
Yeah,
Oshkosh on January 30th. So
Cool.
So tickets are on sale for that right now. Cha-ching, get your tickets. Come see us.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful theater.
Yeah.
Can they
Danny-
buy the tickets through your website, or do they have to go directly to the venue's website?
Most of these venues control it, but the link is mostly on our Facebook page and on our DuranTributeband.com, right, guys?
Yep.
Yes, correct.
And on Facebook, it's Duran Decade. So
Pete will put it
either way-
right here.
right there. I'm like, pointing, it's right here.
There.
Just edit my finger, so it's right there. Buy now.
So Danny, you're the marketing guy, and we got some new bands, up and comers that are listening to the show, and maybe they're looking to get some advice. You got any advice on how these youngins can get leads for their laptop music? Like, do you believe in the Bash, Gig Salad, or any of that stuff? Drip campaign with your Constant Contact? Like, you got any secrets you can share out there how these bands can get leads?
Well, it's in the 90s. In 91 is when I quit touring and got on the artist management and booking side. And I can tell you, the music business has changed so much from then to now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, how the world has progressed. So you go back to when I was selling bands in the early 80s, or excuse me, the early 90s, it was all face-to-face stuff, or on the phone if it's national stuff you're doing. Now what I've learned is that a lot of these places are putting technology between you and the buyer. So they're using, these, buyer portals. In fact, some of the theaters you mentioned in Northern Illinois are that way. You land on their page and say, okay, you got to give them your name, your address, the EPK address, and then, we'll get back to you if we like what we see. You don't have an opportunity to really understand what they're trying to do and how the two of you can work together to drive a successful outcome. So, on the advice side, it's get out there and hustle, create a buzz, try to find out, what you're selling is and how to get it to people that want to hear it.
But I mean, are you still putting a poster up in the bar? Are you still pasting something on a light pole?
Yes.
We
Yes.
still hustle. Yeah. So, and the fact is, that's what, when I talk to buyers, that's one thing they complain about right away. They want to know if you're willing to put skin in the game. Are you spending dollars on Facebook, for example? Are you actually buying stuff? Are you working with their marketing team? They don't want bands that just want to show up and expect a crowd to be there. So it's like always, the bands that hustle, that care, they put time into how they look, what the music sounds like, creating interest for themselves are the ones that are going to, the cream always comes to the top. Brian prints out really beautiful posters, and every one of us get out, hustle, and, we figure out who allows you to go in and hang posters, just like we did when we were in our early 20s.
A lot of places are telling us not to do posters. They would rather just they have video screens or monitors in their bar, and they're saying, don't even bother printing up a poster unless you want to stick it in the bathroom, because they run it, they don't tell us not to do it.
I go to Quick Trips, I go to gas stations,
Nice.
that I can find that will allow me to stick a thumbnail into a cork board with our poster in the area. And the places like the Bend, they called me. They said, we've come across your posters, and you're hanging them up, and they love that.
Right. Yeah, it's great. I wish there was more of that. I mean, we took a lot of pride in doing our posters, and our lead singer would create these things, and I would bring them out there. People would take them off the walls a lot of times, even before the show, because they thought the poster was cool. But more and more, we've been doing a lot less posters nowadays. Ironically,
we had a band in the 90s, Mark and I, that our posters were always things that people would go and take off the walls. So we'd hang 5, 6, 7, and they were big, glossy. I mean, they were 23 by 35, and
on a nice card stock,
it wasn't on card stock, but it was on primo, like glossy, the right kind of stuff. And we'd run into people, we'd go to people's houses, and there's our poster hanging on their walls. So it's a little weird. It's like it's in your bathroom. We're all old school though, so you can't take that out of us, because that's what we did. That's how we did it. We're older now, and we still have the same energy, thank God. And we're in that habit. We're old school. That's how we do it.
Copy machine editing. These kids will never know.
No, I know. The blue marker. Yeah.
All right. So hustle and practice. Is that it, Danny? Be good. If you're good, then people will show up.
yeah, if you want to sell your product, you got to get out there and do something. Just putting something. I've actually started an independent record label to work with young kids, and yeah, some of these folks that I talk to for the first time, they think if they just put it on Spotify, you build it and they'll come. Yeah, that's not the case. You've got to,
What I've been saying. You put
I
a
think you
video
got to
on
utilize.
YouTube of a cool song, and if the video is cool or the song is cool, people will come. That's what I've been saying for like the whole year on this podcast.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's social media too, and just utilizing, the Instagram, and I mean that does. I need to do better on it because I do a lot of the marketing, but I mean it's just like doing that stuff. Some people aren't on Facebook, so they're not seeing your events that are posted on Facebook, but put it on Instagram. I know it's linked to that, but stuff like that, TikTok,
Yeah,
Twitter.
it seems TikTok is the hot one. If you can get on TikTok and somebody just checks you out for 30 seconds,
That's it. Yeah.
that's winning right there. That's winning.
Yeah.
Put your sizzle reel.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned girls, women, that was such a big thing back in the 80s. Our crowds are always 90% women, and they came in clusters. So if you can reach these people and say, hey, get those girlfriends together again for a girls' night out, and come out, and see the band. It's all about reach. Some things don't change.
Well, it's also why are you doing it? Do you want the money or is it ego? Because if you want the money, I mean, nothing's better than a corporate gig or wedding reception. And that's where, Gig Salad and Bash and all that, that's where all these corporate bookers, they're lazy and they go to there. I was just wondering, you get
we tried the Bash with one of our cover bands a while back, and all we got was like, I have a different take on the whole Portal thing in the Bash.
Yeah.
To me, the Portal is, who's the cheapest band? Who can we buy for the less money? That's who we want. That's what I see. We don't care about your marketing material. Who's cheapest, and that's what the Bash was. We got offers to play weddings in New York for $500. Like, screw you. You know how much it's going to take us to get there? But they were just looking. They saw something. They had no idea what they were buying. So educating the buyer is a very big part of this, and we hope that our reputations in this industry, because we've been doing this, all of us, for over 30 years, of bringing quality products to the stage, also helps to sell the credibility. And hey, I've seen these guys before. They always kick ass. They do good stuff. So let's go see what they got. I mean, hell, all of our parents have seen this band, right? Mark, Danny, they've all been there. So
That's fantastic.
Danny, wouldn't it be nice if there was like a local Polestar where you could just see, the bands that, regionally tour through and just see what the attendance was like, so you can kind of that's all a bar owner cares about, right?
Yeah, but again, when I was selling and using Polestar, we talked to people, so it was more than just the numbers. But at the bottom line, when any buyer is putting out a big chunk of money, they're going to make sure they get theirs as a return on their investment. But there's more than just getting a number in the door. It's a conversation around bringing in new people.
Yep.
If you're all you're going to run is
tell that to a buyer the next day when it stiffs.
Well, that's if it goes sideways, overcome that.
I think if a venue is also, if they educate their crowd and they're known for bringing in quality bands, that has a way of being contagious as well. But if you bring in 3 Saturdays of the month, you bring in a stinking band that's cheap just to put something in the house, that's going to draw your crowd actually away from you faster. So quality, reputation, quality bands that show up, and good production quality, good sound, good lighting. Like Danny said, you took some time and you actually put a plan together. Let's not all show up looking like, what I call the douchebag country band starter outfit, the glasses and the hat. And okay, everybody wears that. Here's your plaid shirt. Everyone's got that. Me and Mark have for years, because we've ran bands together. Our saying has always been, the guys on stage have to look like you're in the band. And not just, hey, this guy walked out of the crowd with his black shirt on and his jeans and his douchebag starter kit hat and glasses, and took to the stage. Like, you walk around, it's like, this guy's in the band. Look, he's clearly in the band. Yeah. So, it's just taking that next level and actually thinking about it and actually having a plan.
What about the
I don't
booker
look like
though?
I'm in any band. I just want to say that for the record. I show up. I look like I'm on the golf course more so than.
I might fall into that douchebag thing.
I'm just saying right now. I'll admit it. That's just how I don't have a rock and roll look. I've been talking about it, but I don't have it.
But what about the talent buyers? Because in the back in the day, you'd have a desk full of cassette tapes and CDs, and they were just listening to that stuff all day long. I don't think the buyers are listening to stuff that long. It's like, what's your sizzle reel? Okay, 30 seconds. Okay, I'm going to make a buying decision off of that. Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Attention span. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
And then they get pissed when they book you and you don't belong there. It's not a fit,
Yeah.
and it stiffs and it's your fault.
We spent a lot of money capturing video. We've got great sizzle reels. I mean, some of the production Marcus put out there now is just blow. The last one we'd put out, it's getting so many views because I think people need to watch it 3 or 4 times to really comprehend what just hit them in that last, what is it, Mark, 28 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
You threw everything you possibly could at these people. Visually, it's arresting. It really grabs you and engages. And before I launched it, because Mark sent it to me over a weekend, and I shared it with a couple of friends, my kids, and it didn't have sound either at the time, which that got a lot of question marks sent back to me. I hadn't put the sound into it yet. And everybody said, well, I had to watch it 3 or 4 times. It was so cool. And they see something different every time they watch it. So, I mean, I track this stuff on socials, and we're looking at, in the first 3 days, we had like 5,000 views to this thing on a page that we don't even have 1,000 followers because we're such a new band.
From Thailand?
No, none of that. Hopefully, ours are all organic. We don't go out and pay for the
$5 CPM.
Yeah, I don't know why people do that because you can totally see it. But I watched the views for this thing just skyrocket, and it's visually. And in fact, one of the places that we're talking to asked me like point blank, like, aren't you going to get in trouble though for using Duran Duran audio? And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's live audio from our show at the Vixen. Because I track it all multi-track and well, no, it's not. Yeah, it is. I did it all myself. You want to see it? That's us. That's Mark singing. That's me playing drums.
Hey,
we
Pete,
would never do
hear
that.
that here?
Do that with the Grateful Dead. See if the lawyers don't call. What should be the when we kick off this show? What video that you got out there? Because you guys seem to be in the know. What should we kick off the show with? What video? What song?
That one.
Probably our regular sizzle reel, or the one Mark just did is more like a commercial for a particular show. I'll tell you what though, it kicks ass. I mean, there's no hiding it.
Yeah, as long as you're watching it on a smaller device. I designed it on a 43-inch screen. And honestly, this is going to sound horrible. I thought I was going to have a seizure because there's a lot going on in it, and it's a lot of flashing. So on a phone or a tablet, no problem at all. But if you're going to watch it on a big screen TV with I design at night. It's how I relax, and it's a little overwhelming. There's a lot going on. It's pretty cool. A very different technique than I've never used it before. So it turned out pretty good.
It's like watching The Wall, man. Turn the lights off.
Well, he's the disclaimer for people that
get it to us.
The good thing, I think, and I would say within 5 years, I don't think we'll be holding a phone anymore. We'll be having the glasses, and we'll be able to see it all.
It'll just be in our brains.
Yeah. Well, that's Neuralink. That's our buddy Elon. So boys, give me the website again. We're going to send you some business. Where do we send them to?
DuranTributeBand.com.
Okay.
And then on Facebook, it's Duran Decade.
All right. And then what about Supertramp? We want to give that some love. Anybody else?
Yeah, it's the Supertramp Tribute Band on Facebook. Our website's part of Impact Music Group for Supertramp, and there's a whole bunch of other tributes on there. So,
yeah, with those guys, I'll tell you, I was blown away. I had friends that I had come to that show. Obviously they were supporting Black Diamond sessions, but they were interested in seeing what you guys did, and those first 3-4 songs, I don't know if it was Bloody Well Right, School, whatever it was kick ass. And I'm like, these guys are the real deal. If I'm not mistaken, isn't one of your keyboard players in Steely Dan?
Yeah, Dave Adler is.
Yeah, because I think he's like the lead guy in there, but he was kind of a backing guy in Supertramp. I
Yeah,
recognized him right
he plays
away.
the Rick Davies. So we set up as Supertramp did in concert, and
Yep.
Duran too. We also set up as they do in concert. So drums
Yeah.
and keyboards are in the back line, sharing the back line, and guitar and bass are in front. So, again, Supertramp, same philosophy, going for the quality, going for an actual product. I mean, you saw all the dressing on stage. You saw the yellow umbrella from the Crisis What Crisis album. It
Oh, yeah.
took me months to find that thing and the little white table that goes with it.
It was
So I
great.
mean, it's being conscious of it, of all that stuff. Yeah, I remember you guys hanging on the sides of stage just digging it. It was actually fun to watch you guys having the reaction out there.
Oh, it was great. I loved it. I'm waiting for you guys to come back again. And
We're-
that's
we're
what I asked
back.
about the Vixen, just because I do recall when when the Duran cover band played at the Vixen, and I had never heard of you, so I didn't know that, you obviously, Brian, were involved in that. I didn't know. Now, knowing that, I really want to check it out. I don't get into Wisconsin all that much, but come to Northern Illinois. I'd like to check you guys out again.
Yeah, we definitely have our eyes on Northern Illinois. There's a lot of great venues there, and just again being conscious, we can't burn out, so you can't play.
Yeah.
I think Supertramp, we did the Vixen and the Row like 3 weeks apart.
Yeah.
Too close, not
Yeah.
smart. I mean, you're splitting the crowd too much when you do that. And we learned. I mean, we did Supertramp. Now we're going on almost on year 3 now.
Yeah.
So growing pains. We had to learn a lot of the stuff as we went along, and
Yep.
Duran hopefully gets to learn from some of those mistakes and not make them. But again, what we're doing is not a science. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to do stupid things. It happens. I was really sick at the Vixen, and I know I did not make a very good impression with the manager that night because I was throwing up before, during, and after the show, and I threw up for 3 days after that show. I didn't eat. I didn't eat for 3 days after that show.
Yeah.
It wasn't not enjoyable for me at all. I don't even really remember the show, but those things happen. You just can't control all of that.
Yeah. Rouse Center, another great place.
Mhm.
Real nice venue. Yeah.
And the crowd loved it anyways.
They loved it, man. It was a sellout, actually. I had friends that were coming in, and because the Vixen had done tables and chairs, we sold it out. So they
Yeah.
were calling me and they were texting me, "Hey, I can't get in." I'm like, "Really?" I was kind of shocked. I was like, "I'm surprised." Tables, man. They put the tables in. It cuts the amount of people that they can get in. Yeah,
We're a seated show, although at the end everybody stands up and dances. But
of course.
Duran, when we did the bend, we had them. What was it, Danny? Like 4 or 5 rows. They removed the seats in the front.
All the chairs out of the front, the tables. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And we had-
That's the best.
Yeah, from song 1 till the end of the night, people were dancing right in front of the band.
I always hate when they have tables or chairs right up to the stage, because there are people that want to dance and they shouldn't be relegated to being on the left or the right. They want to be in front. And as long as it's not obstructing the view, people that want to sit and enjoy music, I get that. People that want to get up and shake their ass, you should be up front,
This band, this set, the music we play is built to dance. I think in the first set, because we do 2 1-hour sets with an intermission break, and actually during the intermission we have video presentation that shows like vintage interviews with the band, and there's some trivia and fun stuff like that to keep you going. But we go probably 35 minutes nonstop, like boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
We take very, very few intermission or breaks, even pauses in the music. Mark will set up a couple of songs here and there, but it's pretty much the first 40 minutes you're on your feet and we're slamming you. It comes at you really fast and hard.
It's very controlled. What we're doing, and it's like it's not really my talking points aren't scripted, but it's like there are 2 points in the first set where I talk, and then it's just music, and the talking is not much more than 20 seconds. It is all hits from start to end. Hit.
That's the best. That's the best way to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, rapid fire machine gun coming at you. It is just boom, 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 boom.
When we prepped for our first show, we actually rehearsed the night in order. So we would get together, we rehearse here at my house, and we would literally, okay, everybody strap on, get ready, here we go.
Yep.
And we were playing the video as we were doing it to watch for mistakes and timing issues. And that's how we gave ourselves the muscle memory. We would run that show. I think leading up to that first show, we probably ran the entire show here. I don't know, guys, what, 4, 5, 6 times before?
I would say 6. Yeah.
Wow.
In order.
Yep.
Wow.
hitting those
Nice.
marks, hitting those cues, get the harmonies right, get everything dialed in. Because once that show starts, because it's driving the video, you can't stop. So you can't tie your shoe. You can't drop a drumstick. You can't break a guitar string. It's strap in and
drink
go.
water.
Yep. We can.
That's
we
my
can swear.
biggest gripe, man. I
Yep.
go, I'm a singer. You realize I have to hydrate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brian wanted me to come out with one of those 2 cup holder things on the side. I'm like, I can't do that. I can't move around.
And
Just a stadium.
Simon
buddy and stuff.
LeBon wouldn't do it.
He might actually. Those boys are entertaining. They have a good sense of humor. We've seen them several times. Always enjoy their show.
Yeah, they're
Even
great
to this day, they're still a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
the music just stands the test of time all day long.
and funny and engaging. They're a
Yep.
great show. They really are.
Mark, Dan, Brian, I'm about to go on YouTube to get me some Duran Duran going because I'm hardly
right.
like the wool.
I'm the fat, sweaty one in the back. So
Rhodesy, Bongo Mike, thanks, man. Another great episode. Of the Hot
Don't you want me to
Dog.
do my quick questions?
No,
You don't?
we out.
We're out?
All right, ask the one. Ask the one.
All right, one. No, the one you want me to ask is I want to know something else.
Oh, Jesus
I want
Christ!
one
Ask a
question
question.
for each guy. We'll start with Brian, then we'll go to Danny, then we'll go to Mark. First concert you ever saw? First major concert?
Peter Gabriel's "So."
Wow, nice one.
It's like going to church.
Well, beautiful, Danny.
Oh, first one, I think it was Flat as a Pancake tour
Oh, Head East.
at East. Yeah.
Wow, nice. Mark,
Monsters of Rock, Alpine Valley,
I was there.
1986. I don't want to say the concerts that my dad dragged me to as a young child because
No,
that
I'm
was my
talking-
first. Yeah, the first one I went to solo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Monsters
so that
of Rock.
was what? Kingdom Come, Metallica, Van Halen, Scorpions, Dokken.
Yep, correct.
I
I'm
was
on
there.
that, man. Yeah, man,
there.
me too. It's a good time.
Alpine
Fantastic.
Valley's great.
All right, one more
Awesome.
Bongo. Go ahead.
All right,
Go
see, I
ahead.
knew Pete would do it. All right, Pete always wants to know this, so we're gonna ask each
How
guy.
about hold on? Let's throw a curveball. Favorite food of the '80s.
Brian.
Food.
Favorite food of the '80s.
Well, it's his
my
favorite
God.
food.
Well, I can remember when we were kids, Wendy's had a lunch buffet. And
Oh, yeah.
looking back on it now, it was god awful, but we'd eat there. Rockies and Wendy's. Wendy's only the lunch buffet, though. They had like spaghetti at Wendy's in the
Yeah.
buffet and breadsticks and
Yep.
macaroni and cheese. But in high school, we could make it to Rockies every day if we Rockies in Wisconsin's a big like pizza by the slice place. So
Yeah.
if we walked out the door, did about 85 miles an hour, get in order, we could eat and get back in the lunchtime that we had. So Rockies every day.
Nice.
The first time I went out on tour with London, USA, we were poor. We would actually, I remember we're in Bloomington, Illinois, going to a place called Scotty's, and we'd stop at a grocery store and work our way through and get all the free sample foods before we go to the club. That was our meal for the day. So really, pretty much any food we could get on the road was my favorite 80s food.
Nice. Mark.
I would have to say, just from memory, Shakey's. Was there a Shakey's? At least there was in Wisconsin. And if it was your birthday,
Pizza, right?
they made this huge big deal. It was like a fire department and all this shit would, or sorry, all
can
this
swear.
noise would go off.
Fucking
it'd be
name, Mark. We can
crazy.
swear.
This is
quick-
demonetized in the first 5 minutes, guys.
quick story is that I remember being there. My sister was older. She was there with her boyfriend at the time, and someone said it was his birthday. He got so pissed because like they make a big deal. They bring a big sundae out in front of him, and he goes, if you guys, you didn't, yeah. And so that was probably the biggest memory. But yeah, I don't know, favorite food. That was one of the funniest things I remember as a kid. He's going, I'm tripping those guys as they run by. Even then, I'm like, whoa, it's a little aggressive. So,
All right, fair enough. Bongo, did that satisfy our,
I wanted to know the concerts because these guys are like my age, I
Yeah.
believe, around there. who grew up in
Youngins,
the
yes.
80s. And so I wanted to kind of just get an idea of, what was that first concert,
yeah.
Monsters of Rock. Come on, man.
Man, I will tell you, it was great. I've seen Sammy Hagar. Probably, he's still one of my favorite singers. Probably seen him over the years 37 times.
Wow.
Give or
Nice.
take one.
I don't
Yeah.
want to. I don't want to tangent anymore, but nobody brought up Battle of the Bands. Don't you think that's more influential than the first big concert? Because when you go to that high school and you go up there and you got the kids, I remember Gordon Tech was that was a big thing. Everybody would come in and who would have the best band. Now it's who's got the best laptop. Brian, Danny, Mark, Bongo, Rhodesy, man. Peace out, man.
Yeah.
Great job, guys.
Like
Thanks
a
for having
wolf.
Thanks for having us on.